I'd like to see you do at this point in your life is really go for as much information as you can. Information is free. People say everything in life is not free, and that's not true, because information is free. So get the information that you can and try to implement it somewhat into your life or into, in this instance, music, and see how it can work for you. How many brass players do we have here? Okay, good. How many saxophones do we have? Good. How many pianos? How many bass players? How many drummers? Yeah, those are the crazy ones. No, I mean that because the drums are really the, how can I say it? They're the engine for music. So, especially in a jazz group, or rock group for that matter too, the drummer is the person who gives the band their presence, their energy. So, we're only as good as the drummer. I'm serious about that. But I grew up in Denver, Colorado, town somewhat like Cincinnati. Had parents who played a lot of music, jazz music. Played lots of styles of music. For some reason, I just really appreciated jazz music. My father loved the saxophone, so I heard a lot of people like, just raise your hand if you know this name, Dexter Gordon. Do you know that name? Okay. How many know John Coltrane? Good. How many know Sonny Stitt? Good. How many know Eddie Lockjaw Davis? One. Okay, that's good. Anyway, I was listening to all these different people and started to play the saxophone. It means he can play very fast and he can get around his horn extremely well. I didn't know what I was hearing, but I knew that it was unbelievable. And when I left the club at that point, I knew I was going to be, in my mind, a jazz musician who travels all over the world and makes recordings. So that's my first segue into goals, or having a dream or a desire. How many believe in the aspect of kind of setting goals for yourself? Right. So I think that's really big. I think it's really great if you can write down on a piece of paper. So now I want to be a professional musician who travels all over the world and makes recordings. So I'm looking and investigating my father's music collection. I've come across a group called Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. And it was a recording he had called One Night in Birdland. And there were musicians on that CD named Clifford Brown. How many know Clifford Brown is? Great. How many know who Lou Donaldson is? Good. And there was a piano player named Horace Silver. How many know who Horace Silver is? Okay, great. So, and Curly Russell was the bassist. It was an all-star recording. So I got into it, but on the back, Art Blakey talked about having young musicians. And he always wanted to have young musicians. So as I started to research Art Blakey, from that time up until the time I was looking at, he kept young musicians. So heightened my determination to meet Art and to be in Art Blakey's band. So we fast forward, and I was able to be in an organization called McDonald's All-American Band. I don't know if it still exists, but they take 2 musicians from each state in the United States as a high school senior. And so I represented Colorado. And I met a trombonist who represented Louisiana, whose last name was Marcellus. His name was Delphio. And at that time, I was trying to get to Winton and Bradford because I wanted to be with the Jazz Messengers. Do you know who Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers is? Okay. It was really an unbelievable band and a great opportunity for musicians to travel and play with this unbelievable artist. He was a great jazz drummer. So anyway, I met Delphio. We were in New York. We marched to before was to be at Art Blakey. He said, no, I sent you to school to get a degree. So now I'm in between because my mother is the person that you always want to please, and I want her to be happy about this situation, so I didn't know what to do. I go to my father, same household. He says, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you'll come up with something. So I ended up saying to her, well, how about if I agree to get a degree, would you give me your blessing? In so many words. So she did. So after being with Art, well, the first semester I tried to go on the road with Art Blakey. I was doing an education degree. So I got all these books, and Now, the first tour with Art Blakey, let's say I joined him in, I think December, we did a 2-week engagement in New York, and the first tour was 5 weeks. If you did, through correspondence, come back and got the degree a few years later, which I was happy about that. And then, after I got that degree, I shared my story with famous jazz bassist named Ron Carter. You familiar with Ron Carter? So Ron Carter, who I've gotten to be close with, challenged me. He said, man, that's a great story. He said, well, the man should want something. I said, sure. He said, why don't you stop there? That's what he needs. Why don't you get a master's? I said, well, why? He said, well, why not? So I go, well, he said, well, one day you might get tired of the road. You might want to do some teaching on some academic level, and I'm sure that that master's would help you and help validate you in some way academically. So he talked me into doing it, and I did do it. So what I'm saying to you is the fact that I travel and I'm able to play and sustain a life as a performing musician, I do see a lot of importance in continuing your education. Yes?
Do you write music? And if so, what do you look for as inspiration?
I do write music. It's important to write music because you make money from music, your own music. It's a very important financial stream. So there's the performance aspect, and then there's composition or writing. So I do write a lot of music. The inspiration, it depends. The inspiration could be a person, or the inspiration could be maybe a particular sound on the piano, a chord, right? Be in your head, and that could be the impetus for writing a song, or the inspiration obviously could be any kind of situation, a person, as I said before, or some kind of idea. So an idea, but usually just something that comes to your head, or a melody, or a phrase, or a rhythm, any one of those aspects. If that makes sense. Any other questions? Sure.
Do you have any friends, like trumpet players or whatever? Like, do you know where they might teach at some university?
Do I have trumpet player friends?
Yeah, like where, like, do you know any of them that teach at some specific universities?
Sure. Yeah. Got friends everywhere. I mean, I got some friends. I got a very good friend who teaches at Juilliard School of Music. His name is Eddie Henderson, great trumpet player. You can get that stuff from, like I say, there are teachers at Berkeley that can help you with that, teachers at Juilliard, because I know Eddie Henderson teaches there. I know if you go down, Terrence Blanchard teaches in Florida now, University of Florida, Miami, Florida, so he's pretty good. So you can go study with him, and you can go to, that was a joke. He's very good. I say he's pretty good. But you like Terrence? You never heard of Terrence Blanchard?
Track 5 on the CD,
yeah, you got to, well, it's okay. Listen, go write his name down now and Google him, and it'll come up. There's how much stuff, he's been out here forever. He's written for films. He's Spike Lee's principal writer for all of his films, and he's done other kinds of things. He's a magnificent musician. How many practice every single day? How many do not practice every single day? Good. Now, the people that do not practice every day, are you willing to do 10 minutes a day? That's not very much time. That's not even 10 minutes of a sitcom. I can watch 10 minutes of Jeopardy. You can get your one up, play long tones, it'll be 10 minutes. But what's going to happen, it's going to become habitual. If you do anything every day, it becomes addictive. And then after a while, that 10 minutes will turn into 40 minutes, and 40 minutes to an hour. And that's kind of what it takes. It's a lot of work. A lot of times people think that playing jazz music is what we call intuitive. You know what intuitive means? What does that mean? Intuitive, what does that mean? Just kind of just happens. Yeah, just out of the head. Oh man, this guy, he's so intuitive. No, he's not intuitive. He practices. And you know he practices because if you see Coltrane do this recording and this recording and this recording, and you hear the same things, what does that mean? Consistency. So you had to practice. If you're intuitive, it just happens. You can't be that great, it just happens. Louis Armstrong doesn't just happen. It's a lot of work. But there's a talent, there's a lot of work, a lot of man and female hours that have to go into being what you want to be. Somebody said Brahms. Huh? No, I don't have to be Brahms.
No problem.
So it was really emotional, you know. He's a romantic, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to play the song. Let me see if you've heard this song. If you've heard it, it will not, it will defeat the exercise. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to loop this thing as if, you know, like the rappers, they like to loop little phrases. So I'm going to play this phrase over and over 4 times. And then after that, you're going to try to start, just pick it by ear. Okay, so I'll play it 4 times, that phrase. It's an 8-bar phrase. No, you got to listen. Just listen and internalize it first, and then you can do it. Second time. You're close. So now put what you have in your head on the piano. Any tempo. Don't do it my tempo. Do it the tempo that works for you. Good. Now, see, you'd have a recording, so you can put the recording back on. You can say that other part. You go. You join in. That's how you learn solos. It's that simple. You start learning it, then you go to a place where you can sit in and you play it with some other people. And then after a while, you memorize it. How many know what that song is called? Father's coming to town. A. He's making it last minute twice. Gonna find out another. Santa Claus is coming to town. Second A. He knows when you're thinking. I can't remember the word. That was your B. Oh, you better not cry. You better not. See what I mean? That's AABA. Everybody has heard that all their lives. So that's the AABA song form, which is what this is. 2 A's, then something separate with a B, then back to an A. That's AABA. So anyway, once he, Charles. Okay, sorry. Oh, you 10 cents. But anyway, once he's learned the melody, then he will begin to learn the solo. So now I'm going to play like a simple 4-bar phrase, and then we're going to let him learn my phrase. Let's see if I can play something I can remember. So he's really doing an excellent job. It's just that's how you have to use your ears. Now, as you can see, in jazz music, the phrasing and things are a little different than just the melody. But that's Charlie Parker. So you have to get yourself aligned with people like Charlie Parker. You know who he is, right? Please? Good. Dizzy Gillespie, you know those kinds of people. Bud Powell. And that's where you hear these kind of phrases that you might hear at home. That's Bird. That's Bird, that's bebop, basically. So that's the things that we have to start with to begin to learn the language. And these things that we're playing, everybody knows that stuff. See all that kind of stuff, it sounds interesting. I think. hopefully you find it interesting. But it makes it, the phraseology of it is a little more interesting than just playing up and down, up and down. So we try to find ways to disguise what we're doing. So instead of me going, I just went, I'm just disguising it, or playing it my way, in other words. So that's what happens. You begin to learn these things and you do them your way. It's just like with the English language or the way your parents are raising you. At some point, you're going to live the life that you want to live, as opposed to people try to evaluate and say, which one would I be? Or which one would I really want to be? You can do all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing, you're going to be professional. I don't know if you're asking for yourself or not, but I assume you are. You got to go out and meet some other people. One thing I was fortunate, my father would take me to jazz clubs, and I would go sit in with musicians at 15 or 16. And most of the time I would say, wow, I'm sure these musicians are going, who do they think they are bringing this little young kid? And that's not what they were saying. They were like, come on up here. Because they couldn't wait to have a young person up